got your ball, you got your chain tied to me tight, tie me up again.
You want a side cricket? So today's throwback episode, we're gonna look at my plan B, and we're gonna do that for a reason, because the next episode we're actually gonna go back to my off-grid property and take a look at the changes that's happened over the last 3 years there. Tennessee is one of the few states that you can buy a property and live in a tent on that property. You can also live in an RV. You can build your own structure without having anyone ever inspect it. In fact, the only inspections or information you really have to get done is where you put your outhouse if you build an outhouse. There's lots of different types of toilets that you can use where you don't even need to have it inspected too. So this throwback episode is my plan B, which is my RV on my off-grid property, and I'm gonna just give you a quick tour of the RV. So on Sunday, when we run out to the property and we take a look at some tent living, some shed living, and some build your own 2-story houses off of reclaimed material, that you'll kind of have a concept of what we're looking at ahead of time. So I hope you enjoy this episode. If you have any questions about the RV, let me know, because I haven't finished doing the editing for Sunday's video, so we might answer them in that video. All right, thanks guys. This is a Flagstaff E19 FBS front bed, 19-foot towable trailer. Comes with a 190-watt solar panel on the roof, a max air fan, air conditioning, and a slide out. Under the awning here, outside speaker, outside porch light, complete LED lighting along the upper awning, outside grill, outside grilling table, and power outlets for USB and 120 volt. This is a pass-through storage, goes all the way through to the other side. Docking lights too. Those lights turn on, the whole front is lit up then. Water hookup, water heater. My water heater runs off of gas, meaning propane, and it also runs off of 12 volt. This is what sets this camper apart from most small campers, the slide out. So I'll be honest with you, slide out adds a lot of weight and it adds a lot of money. So probably a third of the price is because of the slide out. These campers go for just over $30,000 new. I bought mine brand new. I added a bunch of things that brought it to just over $35,000. And those things are like heated tanks. I'll go through them when we look at the control panel. I'm going to show you the weight here though. This is one of the reasons why I got this. Total weight, $4,379, or 4,379 pounds. I wish it was only $5,000. That's with the water in there too, with the water loaded and the propane loaded. Here's my back shower, is right there. I locked it up because I'm leaving in the morning, but essentially that opens up and it's a complete shower. I wash my dishes and I shower out here. That way I don't have anything in my tanks. I don't have to worry about gray water dumps or black water dumps. So we'll start at the front. I have a anti-sway hitch that's hooked up, and essentially those are some huge metal bars that hook up to here, and they run to the bumper, the hitch actually, and that makes it so that the truck doesn't squat down when you put extra weight on it. Makes it so the truck sits a lot better. Mine's electric. It goes up and down with push button. I don't have to wind anything. It's a jack stand, I guess. I mean, I guess it's a jack, but I use these once I run out of water. I go and I get water. I keep them on the top of the truck right here. I go and I fill them up. I back the water up and I dump it in there with a little hose so I'm not lifting anything. And if I do it 3 times, I can fill the tank because those are a little over 5 gallons. And I have 32-gallon tank. So the other thing is I have a automatic switch. I'm sorry, a non-automatic switch for my propane. So this will turn to red. Not very tight. This little light right here will turn to red and you'll hear a click inside. You come out, you turn it, and then it'll automatically, it'll go back on. So if you're out in the middle of the night, out of heat in the middle of the night, it's not hard to just come out here and turn this. Then I have my 200 amp hour lithium batteries, Battleborn batteries. I have a direct hookup to plug them into a small charger when I leave the trailer alone, like for long times in storage. And then I also have the charge controller and the solar panels are in by the heater. So this is the heater. There's a little unit, there's a little storage unit right here that has the inverter and the charge controller built in. And I'll show you those real quick. I'll walk in and show you them. Well, welcome to my traveling off-road home. That's where the inverter and the heater come out. There's also an outlet for the heater by the door over here too. This is my kitchen. Nice nifty little kitchen. I do have a nice oven. I have a beautiful sink. TV's great. I also have a little this makes my mobile, it makes my signal go further. Mobile extender, Wi-Fi extender. And then I have on the roof, which I'll go through that next, I have not only the solar panel and the fan and the air conditioner, but I also have a rotating antenna that gets me TV. So I opted to go for a little bit wider than a twin size bed, and then the back of the bed that would normally be a twin or queen is cat post, cat litter pan, closet, hanging stuff, laundry, and all my clothes are up top. Pots and pans are in the drawer below. It's a lot of pots and pans, so that's why they're down there. I turned this into, this used to be where I hang stuff, but I turned it into DVD storage and shelving stuff. But this used to be a hanging closet. Pots and pans, I broke the drawer the other day, so I'm going to fix that when I get back to Milwaukee. That's where I put all my canned goods. So it's completely heavy and it's a horrible drawer, but it's directly above the tire, so it sits the best right there. It's a very deep sink, which I like. Full refrigerator, freezer, microwave on that whole back panel right there. The Magic Chef refrigerator freezer, first of all, I can make my own ice. How awesome is that? Is 12 volt. Does not run off of propane. It only runs off of 12 volts. But again, I have a really good solar system. Speaking of, here's the charge controller for the solar. Right now I'm at 83%. I'm getting 8.76 kilowatt amp hours. That's how much I have to get back to 100%. And I'm getting 6.8 volts amps off of the sun right now. Thermostat. This air conditioner is the same size air conditioner that they use for 30-foot trailers. So it gets this thing freezing cold very fast. But I need to use my generator to run it. Overhead storage everywhere. You see how that happened? I might edit that out. We'll see. I might show you that I can just plug in a normal vacuum and clean that right up without having to turn on the generator either. Cookies, cleaning supplies, chips and stuff, bread, noodles, coffee. On the slide out, the whole top is storage too. So I have my winter gloves and winter stuff there, a bunch of tools there, a bunch of tools here too, and my garbage bags, tinfoil, stuff like that. And then dog and cat treats. The cat has the run of underneath the couch. That whole length of underneath the couch is a cat area. Behind the couch is a cat area. Obviously the cat post is good. Her litter pan's down in there. I made a little seat for her to be in here, which she spends most of her time, as you can see. Yeah. The best part about this RV is the slide out. So normal campers do not have 4.5 feet of floor this way and then 6.5 feet of floor this way. Yeah, it's definitely the slide out that makes this whole RV better than most. This wide open area in the middle here makes it so if you're stuck in here for a few days watching movies in bad weather or whatever, it's not that bad of a thing to do. So the TV, I have an outside TV too. It's stored underneath the couch. The stereo works with USB hookup or HDMI. It also has radio and Bluetooth, and it works outside and inside. Yeah. The other control panel is over here. And essentially, let me see if I can get it to focus. Here's all the lights. This will let you check if you have, so I have full battery, fresh tank, gray tank, black tank, water pump, if you're gonna run the sinks, water heater for gas, water heater for electric, and then here's the tank heaters, and those are like little heaters put underneath the black, gray, and fresh tanks, so if it gets below 30 degrees at night, they won't freeze. Here's my slide and awning, retract and in, and putting it out. It doesn't take forever, but it's not the fastest thing in the world. And then again, you guys, this is my front yard, which you've seen many times. The couch is pretty cool because it turns into 2 different recliners and it flips out to be a queen size bed. It just lifts right up like that. This is kind of how a normal RV is, with just this little tiny gap in the middle between the couch and the kitchen. Once you slide the slide out in. Here is the bathroom. There's storage under the sink. Medicine cabinet. Fantastic fan. I keep my vacuum in here as well. Recirculating shower, so you can run hot water right back into the fresh tank, and this turns bright red once it gets hot, so you don't waste any fluid or any liquid. And then when it gets really cold, you can run hot water right into your tank to keep it thaw. You know, every 6 or 8 hours you can bring up the temperature of the tank. If you want more details about the RV and the breakdown of what all the systems do in it, I did a double episode tour where in 2021 when I got it, And this video you're just watching, this throwback video, was from 2023 after I lived in it for 2 years. 2 winters traveling and doing the national forest. So if you're looking to actually go through and see what every button does, the first episodes back in 2021 show that. The other reason I got it, which I haven't talked about yet, is I was planning on going off-roading and going boondocking in the desert and the forest roads and the mountains. So this was one of the best off-road trailers that you could get, and I got one of the best off-road trucks that you could get, with the plan of never really being, never paying for camping, just going out in the middle of the wilderness and staying. So I mastered the art of boondocking in it, and I mastered the art of off-roading and getting to places where just nobody would ever go. And that's the first couple of seasons of my channel. And then I decided, in order to use that RV as a retirement home, I needed to buy a plot of land. And in order to put it on a plot of land and follow all the laws, I had to be in Tennessee, unincorporated community, and it would not become part of my taxes. In a lot of states, owning an RV or owning a boat, you have to pay taxes on the value of that boat every year. It's personal property tax. And in Tennessee, they don't have that. The other thing that they allow you to do is park something on a property, and it's not part of the assessment value because it doesn't have a foundation. So you can have $1 million RV and park it on a $3,000 plot of land and not pay taxes on the RV or the home, right? So in my case, my land was $3,500, and it's $7.11 a year taxes, and I just leave my RV there. I've built a couple of decks over the 3 years that I've had it, and I've documented that as well. I think the best way to lead into the episode that we're going to do next week, or on Sunday, I'm sorry, is that I go to check on after winter is over, I went back to go check on my property, and then I show you what my street looks like. My street does not have power lines once you get to my level on the hill, and it's all off-grid. So my neighbors don't have refrigerators typically unless they're running a generator, and they don't have, some of them don't have houses, they live in tents. Some of them live in sheds, and I'll show you that street. And then we have people, essentially this is what happens. People come there, they live in a tent, they save up as much money as they can to buy material, and then they put piles of material everywhere. And then within a year or two, they start a house, or they move on because my neighborhood is nowhere near a store or water or anything. So the whole reason why there's no taxes is because there's no roads, there's no nothing. So essentially they either make it or break it in the first couple of years, and after the 2 years, they build some sort of shed and chicken coop and start to make a life. I'll show you some of the people that have made it, and I'll show you some of the people that didn't make it. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for checking in. Let me know how you liked the episode.